Hello.
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 Hello. Why?
How are you?
I am everything and just hang on.
And a bucket of chips.
Everything in a bucket of chips. There we go. I can hear you now. Life's okay. Look at that. Ah, gosh, what a time to be alive, Sarah.
Oh, yeah. Here's my video.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, it's up there.
Hello. What are you using? What camera is that?
So I bought this fancy Logitech camera that sits on the top of my big screen.
Yeah, cool.
Because the one on my laptop that's over here, like I wanted to be able to have all the people on my big screen.
Yeah.
And on my laptop over here. So I bought this Logitech one, which is cool. And then, so usually what I do is I put the screen all the way down.
Yeah.
And that's good. But then to get the microphone close enough to my mouth, I need to put the desk up a bit.
Okay.
So
does the camera itself not adjust?
Well, no, not really. It
Okay.
like a little bit, but not heaps. Yeah, not kind of. It's okay. It's fine. It's only a $200 camera. It wasn't very expensive. So yeah.
I was thinking, just purely because I've never done it before, we can just try streaming this Zoom chat onto our Facebook page.
Okay.
As part of just see what.
Sure.
Because I think share on a page, Celebrant Institute. Look at that. I think we can.
Cool.
Magic. What was that?
That was what?
So it was like a like a. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Okay, here we go. Okay, cool. Yeah, look at that. It's a thing. It's there. It's kind of cool. 21st of April episode of the podcast. Cool. Might be I'm gonna just click go, and I literally don't know. I'm gonna put a hat on because I feel stupid. Hang on. Because that's
really vain. That's really vain.
I've been sitting here and I feel like shit. It's been a shit day. So
we didn't have to do this today.
Well, my opportunity to do it through the later of the week is less.
It's less, okay.
Yeah.
Your hair didn't look bad.
Well, I thought, whatever. Alrighty.
You want me to record on Piezo as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
You is there anything on your mind, or you just want to kind of just talk, just see where we go?
Just general, yeah, I think so. Webinar OPD and COVID, and then see what else comes out.
Yeah, cool. We can talk about the norms possibly happening. Just just our thoughts. Do we think it's a good thing or not?
Yeah.
And obviously just communicate around that.
Yeah.
I think we're possibly live. Hello, anyone that's getting this. You are about to experience a live recording of the Celebrant Talk show. So welcome to the party. Sarah, you ready to start?
Yeah. Do you want me to press record yet?
Yep. You click record, and I'm going to click record, and I'll start. Okay. Let's click record. Welcome, friends and family, to another episode of Australia's 68th best Celebrant podcast. This is the Celebrant Talk Show. My name is Josh Withers, and joining me is Sarah Ed. Good morning, Sarah.
Hello. Good. It's definitely not morning. Definitely not morning. It's 4:19 p.m. on Tuesday, the 21st of April. So that's certainly not morning. That shows me how good your day has been.
I've got no idea what time of the day. What day is it? I don't even know.
It's like that weird period between Christmas and New Year's when nobody knows what day it is or what's
but
up
it's a
or
whole year.
down. Yeah. Yeah. It's like that all the time now.
It is.
Nobody has any idea what's going on or what day it is or anything. And so tell our people about what we're doing with Facebook right now.
Well, so yeah, if you're listening to this podcast the old-fashioned way, then we did do it live on Facebook as well. And if you're watching live on Facebook and you're like, oh, this is cool, we do this quite irregularly. It's called a podcast. It's if you have one of Steve Jobs' iPods, we do a radio broadcast for the pod. But a podcast. It's beautiful. I highly recommend it. And so yeah, we're kind of crossing streams here today. We're doing the Facebook, we're doing the podcast. We might even try and get this. I might try and hijack an FM radio station. We'll get it live somewhere. That'd be cool.
I love it.
Can you imagine like a Celebrant FM network?
Oh my God.
The National Celebrant.
It would just be like thinking out loud 24/7.
Yeah.
Over and over again. Wedding playlists. I'm really enjoying on Facebook some of the memes like that are people. They're either people who have lost all sense of reality or they're young people who don't understand what has gone before. So one I saw the other day was what we really need during this time of the coronavirus emergency is like an instantaneous podcast that gets released like every minute or every hour, giving us up-to-date news. And someone's responded and saying, that's a radio. It's called a radio.
Well, someone literally, like, they weren't joking. They were literally requesting that.
Who knows if they were joking or not? It's hilarious, though.
It is.
Oh, people. So, yeah, it is the 21st of April, and we are in the midst of the coronavirus pandemic still. I was surprised when I set up my recording today to find that the last time we recorded was on the 23rd of March, which was the day that Scott Morrison announced that weddings were down to 5 people, because that doesn't feel like 4 weeks ago. That
feels like a lifetime.
Well, it feels like a lifetime, but it also feels like yesterday.
Yeah.
And it's just a bit mental. Like I was actually surprised to see that it had been 4 weeks since we've recorded. This time is quite crazy. I think.
How's your quarantine vibes going? Like, because you've only just recently bought an RTO, and you've got to reply to my texts. So between those two things, you're really busy,
right? I'm super busy. And of course, replying to your texts is at least 75% of my workload. I did, yes, as we have discussed, I did recently buy life skills training on the 6th of March. Terrible time to buy a business. And then 11 days later, completely pivot the business from delivering face-to-face training to webinar training. And I don't know if I'd counted last time, because last time we recorded, it was less than a week after I had cancelled face-to-face, but I have actually counted now. I cancelled 64 face-to-face sessions between the end of March and the end of September. And I have pivoted those to 41 webinars scheduled in that 6-month period. Because obviously some days we were running sessions in Sydney and in Melbourne at the same time. So we'd only need one webinar to replace that. So that's been a massive undertaking, completely changing the way we train. You know, the webinars are going really well. They are, of course, it's similar to face-to-face in that you get a trainer in front of you, and you don't have to do any assessment tasks like you do with distance. But of course, it's also different because you're not in a room. You don't feed off the energy of other people. You don't have those socializing, networking type of moments that you do at face-to-face OPD. So there's been a lot of me writing instructions and a lot of me figuring out how to capture data that showed who was online at what time so that I can back up my reporting to the marriage law and celebrant section if I ever need to do that. Because obviously when you go to face-to-face training, you sign a piece of paper to say that you're in the room, and there's no signing a bit of paper at the moment. So I've had to figure all of that out. And then of course, people have had to come on board and figure out that it's not too scary. They can figure out how to use Zoom. So you, Josh and I, we ran a trial on the 30th of March with our Celebrant Institute members, which was great. And that went really well. And the first official session was on Sunday, just gone. And I had another one today and I'm nailing it.
You're doing
It's
really
awesome. Good. And it's so awesome because I've even had some people say, I will never go back to face-to-face. I just want to do it like this forever. I don't have to leave my house. I don't have to see people who I don't really like. I still get the benefit of a trainer who can respond to my questions there and then. But with all the beauty of doing it in my house, in my pajamas, if I want.
I have always wanted to do OPD in person because like if you're watching this or listening to this and you've never done OPD in person, you've only ever done it by distance ed. Distance is the worst. Like
the worst.
Because you get the same content, but then you actually have to do the assessments and you have to write answers, and because you've got to prove that you're getting involved in the whole situation. And I would say that distance ed probably takes longer than the 5 hours required by sitting in a room.
Definitely.
Yeah, and so I've always attended. For the last 5-6 years, I've attended, and it's been fine, like better than distance ed. But sometimes you just end up in a room where people hijack conversations, or I don't know. There's a not all of my in-classroom experiences have been positive.
I would definitely agree with that. The other thing that you miss out on when you do it by distance is both the trainers and the other celebrants' lived experience. It's very difficult when I'm writing training material to include the examples that pop up in conversation when I'm delivering the topic in person. So I think that's something else that you miss out on when you do it by distance. So yeah, look, I'm stoked at how well it's working. Our sessions for April all sold out really quickly. We've got webinar sessions all year, and we've got some that start at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, some that start at 9 a.m. Central Time, and some that start at 9 a.m. Western Standard Time. So we're catering for all the time zones. And it's been quite interesting because I thought that people were going to get really tired sitting in front of their screens for several hours. So I scheduled in 2 1-hour breaks during the day so that it wouldn't be too exhausting. But at our first trial session, people were like, we don't need that long a break. Okay, fine. So now I do a thing where everybody gets to vote how long the break is. So on Sunday, cool. Both breaks were 15 minutes. Today we had one 15-minute break and one 30-minute break. Perfect. People are in charge. We're not waiting for catering to turn up or anything like that. Yeah. So we can be a bit more flexible about those things. So, both sessions finish just after 2:30, and people have got the afternoon to go and, look after the kids and do all the other bits of being alive. So it's cool. I'm really happy.
Do you remember talking to me on the 17th of March? I was in Tasmania, and you were uncertain as to whether people would want to attend webinar OPDs. And like you're on the fence about the whole situation. Like, tell everyone how you're feeling then, which is only a short month ago.
Yeah, look, back then I was like, I don't have time for this. I've got all these other things on my plate. There is no way I've got time to figure out how that will work. Yes, it sounds like a great idea, but not this year. Maybe next year. No, let's not think about it. Yeah, that very quickly became a necessity instead of not so much. So yeah, it's been, I'm really interested that I am, as far as I'm aware, I'm currently the only OPD provider who is offering the full 5 hours via webinar. I know Qualtrain is doing like a hybrid where you do 3 hours by watching pre-recorded videos and 2 hours live. And as far as I'm aware, Australian Celebrations Training and the Gordon aren't offering it yet. The Gordon is looking into it in like maybe in a month to start offering it. But I guess part of being, an essentially a sole provider, even though I have trainers working for me, but it does allow me to be a bit more flexible and adaptable and pivot quite quickly. I think pivot must be the most overused word of the coronavirus pandemic.
No, unprecedented would be.
Oh, that's a good point. But I suppose when it comes to business, pivot has to be up there.
Yeah, well, it definitely is an unprecedented pivot.
Yes, it is. So yeah, that's kind of how training's going. My Cert 4 enrollments are still on hold until the end of May. That's my plan. It's currently illegal to complete the Cert 4 because at least one ceremony has to be recorded in front of 20 people. And so it's not possible to do that. But I'm hoping that people can, when I start taking enrollments again at the end of May, people can start with working on their theoretical stuff, and they can get ready to do the practical stuff when those restrictions are lifted.
Now, I know you and I both know that conducting a marriage ceremony over Zoom or any kind of video conferencing app is illegal in the sense that the celebrant and the couple and the witnesses can't be on separate Zoom chats across the world. They have to be present in front of each other. But if you're doing a non-legal training only ceremony, they could do it on Zoom. That'd be fun. Yeah,
no, because the point is to replicate what they will do in the real world. Sure. Because they need the experience with presenting to a lot of people, which is very different on Zoom to having 20 people standing in front of you. They need to be able to manage signing the certificates and figuring out how that works. So yeah, I thought through all of that and I went, no, I can't make it work. They'll be able to do their mock meetings. So they have to do 9 meetings and they'll be able to do those via Zoom. That'll be fine. But their actual ceremony performances, they're going to have to wait.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
Which is annoying.
Anyway. One more issue on Zoom, OPD. Have you seen what this enterprising young girl, a 10-year-old girl, I saw a tweet from her mum. Have you seen what she did to get through Zoom lessons at school? So part of Zoom, actually, I haven't done this. I'm going to see if I can do it while I'm sitting here recording with you. But something you can do with Zoom is change your background. And so you can instead of having just your regular background, you can have a virtual background. So right now I'm going to put myself in San Francisco, which it has to download apparently. So here we go.
Here I can. Yours is working.
Am I in San Francisco now?
Yes, there you are.
Yeah. So
I am in the grass.
Wow, that's freakier with your hair.
With our hair, right? I know, it's really creepy.
It's super creepy.
Yeah.
So she took a screenshot of her being on Zoom and uploaded that as the background, so she could go and play with the puppy in the school during the school Zoom. So I'm just.
Oh, I love her.
Make sure your students don't do that because they'll be bad.
So clever. Good on her. I love it. See, people are very enterprising.
Yeah, they really are.
I did see someone with these virtual backgrounds right back at the beginning in March. He was an academic somewhere and he said he was looking forward to delivering all of his lectures from Hogwarts from now on.
Yeah, I like that.
Oh, bless.
I like that a lot.
So yeah, that's kind of how training's going. How is the world of Josh? Because, everything's on hold.
Yeah, the world of Josh is a weird little world at the moment. We're currently living in an Airbnb we're in Kira, so Coolangatta. It's fine here. It's a good place. Everything's okay. So no one needs to worry about us per se. But we're trying to get a home. So the reason we're a little bit late recording this today is because we're trying to apply for a home loan. And so we're going through those processes and trying to figure out if anyone will give us some cash for that. On top of that, we're obviously dealing with a whole lot of change around our business. And so we're trying to reaccommodate so many couples into other dates. And that's obviously affecting other bookings and being available for other couples.
I just need to pause you.
Yeah.
Now you're in a plane.
Yeah, I felt like being in a plane.
It was just, you just kind of changed your background with no even change in like it just mid-flow.
Yeah. And look, I'm first class as well, you see?
This is going to make zero sense to the people who listen to this podcast later on. But anyway, moving right along.
I'll leave this on Facebook, if you want to enjoy, you can check out the Facebook video.
So you're moving all of the clients, which is getting in the way of other clients.
Yeah, it's a pain. And then just on top of that, it's just the regular fact that we're not working because weddings, like weddings as commercially viable things aren't happening. Like I know a lot of people going, oh, weddings can still happen. Like, yeah, but there's a real issue. And I don't think you and I really addressed this in our last podcast. Stop me if I did, but the whole 5 people at a wedding. So 2 witnesses, the couple and the celebrant. That's really good for the couple that we just need/want to get married today. Like,
yes.
And I'm always for that. Like, I'm a big fan of people just being married. Like, it's good to be married. So I'm a fan of marriage. I'm here for it. It's good. But weddings and even elopements with guests hold a different place in society than just getting married legally. And what I mean by that is that a wedding is a place where, like, if I'm getting married this Saturday, Sarah, which I wouldn't because it's illegal. So in a hypothetical of this Saturday, and if I say to you, Sarah, please come to my wedding this Saturday, what I'm actually saying is I'm creating a place on Saturday for you to come and show me how much you care about me.
I'm inviting you because I care about you.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So it's vice versa. Yeah.
It's a dual carriageway of care, but there's an opportunity. I'm creating an opportunity for all of us to care for each other and to love each other and to give a fuck about each other. And when we say that, we're kind of implying that there'll be all the opportunities to show we care. And one of the most common and popular ways to show we care is with physical affection, a cuddle, a high five, a pat on the back, a kiss on the cheek, a kiss on the lips, whatever it might be. And those things are just not allowable today. It's just not a thing. Even if you do the legally allowed wedding ceremony of 5 people, they've all got to be socially distant. And there's the idea that you wouldn't kiss and hug and high five afterwards. And so it's just bloody weird. Like, it's weird to show people you care without being physically affectionate, a hug or high five or a handshake, anything like that.
The way I've been talking about this is that weddings aren't happening. Marriages are happening.
Absolutely. Yeah. Which is really interesting that, and it's obviously when you're Scott Morrison, you've just got to say stuff that everyone will hopefully understand.
Yeah.
And so when you say weddings of 5 people are allowable, it's just not a wedding. It's a marriage.
It's not a wedding, and it's not a wedding because it's only 5 people. It's not a wedding because there's no time for them to sit and drink and eat together. There's no kissing and hugging. There's no celebration of the commitment of marriage. Literally all that is allowed to occur is the ceremony. And that could be a formal ceremony, a half-hour ceremony, very personalized and very intimate and all those sorts of things. But the couple then can't, with their witnesses, unless they live in the same house, they can't go and have a picnic or go and have a drink together or, do anything to celebrate what has just occurred. I've got my last legals only marriage on Friday. The last one I've got booked in last thing I've got booked till November. And he emailed me the other day to say, when I leave, can another friend of theirs come and take photos? Because it's still the wedding and there'll still be 5 people. And I'm like, no, because it's not the wedding anymore. As soon as the ceremony's finished, and as soon as I leave, that's it. Then it becomes a social gathering. So, and that's not allowed. So the only way you can have your photographer is if they're one of the witnesses. So it's tough.
We aren't used to receiving this kind of feedback, but we're receiving live comments via the Facebook Live feed.
Are we?
Yeah, how good is this?
That's so cool.
I think I was recording a podcast live. And I'll come back to Alison's in a second because she's talking about Cert 4. But Rebecca said that it feels clinical. Police turned up to her ceremony last Saturday to move them on once they're done so that it didn't become a social gathering.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah. Which, gosh, the whole thing is just weird, isn't it? It's just...
Yeah.
just weird. Lots of highs from everyone, and all you guys listening are rock as well. Thank you for your love. But Alison said for her Cert 4 in training and assessment she's doing, the TAFE is currently working on finding out if the performance elements for the delivery units, which we're talking about in Celebrancy, being the conducting a marriage ceremony, etc. So the TAE delivery units need a group of 8 people. They're currently finding out if they can be done online. And
well, I've already asked that question for ours, and ours can't.
Yeah.
So I rang Asqua about that a few weeks ago, and they said no.
No.
Although I did see an email from Asqua today saying, can you please let us know? We need providers to let us know if there are any delivery issues associated with COVID-19. So even though the party line is that at this moment, if the packaging requirements are in person, then that's what you've got to do. Please do let us know if there are issues, and we'll work on seeing if there's anything we can change about that.
It's kind of the theme of existing on the planet at the moment. Like I keep on seeing these angry Facebook posts, and I can't believe that Scott Morrison doesn't. I can't believe. Lots of people that can't believe. And now I don't want to use the word again, but it is an unprecedented time, and we're all just figuring this out. Like
making it up. That's all we can do.
We're just. Like we've got these parameters. We've got service contracts. Like I don't know if you've seen me being a little bit of a smart ass in a few of the Facebook groups, but people would ask, "Oh, this is the situation. I don't know what to do," and I would reply with a comment, "What does your service contract say?" Because that's what you have a service contract for, to define the outer limits of your relationship with the people you're servicing, so that in these extreme or negative or weird scenarios, we have a fallback. We have an outer wall, so that the relationship has bounds. And but even then, even though we've got service contracts, it's unprecedented times. We're all just trying to figure crap out as it is. And one of my couples who moved their elopement from Italy, we talked back early on, and I can't remember the exact reason, but there was a reason why they had to pivot back from Italy early. I think it was a family health reason, something like that. Like obviously COVID-19 related, but also let's bring back to Australia. And we all agreed at that point, early March, we all agreed that May 24 in Melbourne would be fine.
No.
Well, so like we talked last night, and I said, look, we only know what we know. And so maybe I said, like in a week or something, let's talk. And it's likely not going to happen, but I said I haven't booked flights yet, and so. But if it can happen, it happens. But who knows?
But the state of emergency in Victoria is only issued until the 11th of May, so there is the possibility that their marriage could go ahead with a celebrant who was already in Melbourne. I think the travel for you is going to be the issue on the 24th of May, but it's possible that they could have, the numbers of people who can get together might grow by then. I doubt it, to be honest, but who knows?
Yeah, who knows? And then just to add to the awkward, well, it's not awkward, but just to add to the whole situation, I legally married them 6 weeks ago. Because we're supposed to be in Italy. So
yeah. Yeah. So it doesn't actually, they're not having a wedding on the 24th of May. I can almost guarantee that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like probably 95% confident they're not having a wedding. They could have had a marriage, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's something just came to me. What was it? Oh yeah. When you were talking about what does your service contract say? I think the biggest problem at the moment is that a lot of couples are saying, well, your service contract no longer is relevant because this is a, unprecedented event, et cetera, et cetera. And therefore, it has to be cancelled because the government said so. So you have to give us some money back. No, actually the ACCC has come out and said, no, the businesses can charge for the work that they've done so far. If it's a government shutdown, the consumer is likely not entitled to a full refund. The problem comes when couples are really difficult. And there are celebrants who I've spoken to who feel very strongly about fighting for their space and for arguing those things. And that is great. All power to them. But there are also some celebrants who are tired and scared and out of energy. And my advice to them has been just give them back their money and move on. These are probably not people that you're going to want to work with in the future. And it's, maybe 5 or 10% of the general client population is being difficult. And it's okay to say, I don't have the energy to deal with this right now. So I'm going to focus on worrying about my family, and I'm just going to give them their money back and move on. That's okay. And I don't think any supplier should feel bad about making a decision to not have these arguments, because they are resource and time and energy zapping.
Yeah. I did comment on one person's in one of the COVID-19 Facebook groups. I commented there saying it's important to know exactly what you just said, that you do not have to engage
absolutely
in the banter. Look, their wedding or their elopement or whatever it is, it's not happening for the foreseeable future. We have some runway here. Like, they don't require an urgent answer. They may be like me. I like to deal with things swiftly, or at least come to some kind of resolve, even if the resolve is, well, there's no wedding date. So, but you're also completely within your rights to say, I'm not going to take your email or your phone call today, this week, this month. It's been a hard time. Like, part of the reason we haven't recorded a podcast for a month is I've not been in the best headspace. This has been a yucky and a weird and it, as much as a lot of people are talking about all the free time they've got, please understand, anyone listening, that I'm not at all complaining about this, but like, I'm with Luna 24 and Brett 24/7, and not like they need my care, like I'm the primary caregiver, but like, I love being with Luna, and so I'm not even saying that like she's a burden, but I'm like, if I've got the opportunity to spend time with Luna, then I'm gonna like between Sarah and Luna, Luna wins. I'm sorry, Sarah.
It's fair. She's very cute.
She is. And so she's at grandma's today. And so like, well, today's the day. I'm going to get a podcast done. I'm going to get some work done. I'm going to apply for a mortgage. You
and I had the discussion last week about we've got all this free time, but it's actually really hard to get things done. It's really hard to focus. It's really hard to be productive. Usually when you'd have 2 or 3 days off in a row, you'd be like, yeah, free time, I'm going to do it, get it all done. But you just can't. And that's okay. There's been quite a lot of articles that I've seen shared on Facebook about, forget this productivity rubbish right now. We are in a state of global trauma. Everyone is in the same traumatic experience. Trauma is exhausting and it saps your energy. And it is not surprising to feel unfocused and to feel like you're lacking productivity and not getting anything done. Besides the fact that you might have children in the house who aren't usually in the house all day, a partner who's working from home when they don't usually, extra noise, extra things going on, or, all of that, plus the trauma and the uncertainty and the what's happening next and how long is it going to last for, and on and on and on it goes. It's not surprising if people can't be productive at the moment. I'm certainly doing a lot of this. Some days I'm all over it and I'm like, yep, great, I'm getting it all done. And some days I'm like, I got nothing. I just cannot today. It's hard. It's really hard. And we all need to give ourselves a bit of a break. We really do. And a bit of a pat on the back and a bit of a, it's okay not to feel okay.
It is right okay now to not feel okay.
Yeah. It's hard. I'm interested. I started listening, Josh, to your interview with Briggsy on his new Catch the Light podcast. Chase the Light. Yeah. Our good mate Briggsy, Michael Breeze, the photographer, he's got himself a new podcast, Chase the Light, and it's great. I'm really enjoying it. But Josh was one of his first. I quite enjoyed how he described you as his first conversation person.
He's a regular Andrew Denton.
He didn't want to call it an interview because that sounded too much like he was asking questions and you were answering them, and he wanted it to be more like a conversation. So yeah, bless him. Anyway, so that was recorded on the 2nd of April, if my memory serves from what you were talking about. Yeah. And you were talking then about inquiry rates and how, things haven't changed too much, but a little bit. But I'm interested to know where you're sitting now on the 21st of April. Are you still getting inquiries right now? Are they more kind of, we want to get married sometime, but obviously we don't have a date yet, but we'd love to talk to you? Like, what's that looking like for you at the moment?
So I haven't done a study, but I'll probably tell you that every 2 days I'll probably get 3 to 5 inquiries, and just kind of figure out between them that maybe 1/3 of them I'm available for, 1/3 I'm not available for, and 1/3 just kind of sussing things out for the future of their wedding planning. Are you dancing for exercise or for fun?
Well, it's 4:50 and my watch has tapped me to say that I haven't stood up yet this
That's
hour.
hilarious. Okay.
So I'm just standing up for a little wiggle.
No, I appreciate it. It's good.
Yeah.
You're so cute. I hope everyone on the live stream caught that. That was beautiful. So there's couples that I am available for, and we begin talking. And I'll be honest with you, I've been trying to figure out what to do with my pricing kind of moving forward, because I feel like it's a price sensitive market, generally speaking. Yeah, there's always going to be people that pay more. There's always going to be people that pay less, and so that's fine. But I've adjusted my prices a little bit lower, and I've introduced a discount package that doesn't come with a lot of things that I would normally provide. Mostly flexibility. There's zero flexibility, and it's only available to be booked within 9 months' notice. And during the COVID-19 lockdown, it comes with a free video and live stream, but normally it wouldn't come with that. So, and that comes in at probably what an average celebrant might charge. Not an average, God, I'm sorry. I don't want to use titles like that, but it comes in at a price below $1,000. Whereas my other packages are still up there. I'll tell you, like, no one's booked for a while. Just no one with me directly, no one's spending. And I don't know, I don't want to reflect on that for the rest of the industry, but I feel there's a lot of people with maybe some spare time in their hands, so maybe they are researching and they're booking. But for me, it hasn't been overly successful. And then there's just still a lot of people that are inquiring for times that I'm moving this year's elopements and weddings to next year. So it's just weird. There's nothing normal right now.
No, that's actually another curiosity of mine, though. When are they inquiring for? Are you getting any 2020 inquiries still, or are they all next year?
Yeah, so probably like 1 in 5 is a 2020 thing. Like they've had to move things, and they want to try for June or July 2020, and but none of those are like have progressed past an initial email, which I also find weird that I've had very, very few dialogues people, which I heavily encourage a good dialogue, because that's kind of my whole thing. And so I'll send a video email. I've been getting a lot of nothing back. It's just a weird time on planet Earth. I don't know. I'm trying to disengage from the thoughts of it all, because normally I'd go hard. I'd follow up. Hey guys, you emailed 3 hours ago. Why haven't you replied? Yeah. So I'm joking. I don't do that desperate. But I do generally keep on top of things, and I haven't been doing that because I don't want to be a burden on anyone kind of emotionally. I figure a lot of people are doing weird, like they're feeling weird at the moment.
Yeah, and I think, there's such a lot of uncertainty that I suspect people are doing a lot of researching, but maybe not following through yet, and they feel like maybe they'll follow through when there's a bit more certainty about when they can go ahead. So, maybe they're just getting their research runs on the board. I'm also...
There's a lot of people out of work. Like I've got
that's
clients
right.
that are out of work, and, they've been fired or let go or whatever.
That's it. So there isn't money to make bookings. I have heard a little bit of people saying, we want to book you, but we don't want to pay you a deposit because you might not be in business anymore by the time our wedding comes around. And that's a bit shite. Please don't do that. But I can understand not wanting to make any decisions and not wanting to outlay any money.
I do understand it, but also don't book anything. Like,
that's what I mean. Yeah. Like, don't try to make bookings. Exactly. Don't try to make bookings and not pay. Like, just don't make the booking. This is a feeling. It's got no evidence absolute at all whatsoever, but I feel like we won't be doing any weddings of 50 plus people this year.
Oh, really?
But I don't know, that maybe they might open it up to groups of 20 or groups of 50 or maybe even up to 100. But, once they start to relax any kind of social distancing restrictions, there's going to be another wave. We're moving into winter. We have no idea what impact that will have. Possibly a bad one if you consider that, the bad outbreaks at the moment are in colder areas of the world, places that are colder at the moment or, in March. I was watching Q&A last night and somebody was saying that there hasn't been a lot of bad outbreaks in kind of places that are warmer. So that could indicate that there's a temperature issue here. But again, it's like we've known about this thing for 5 months? We just don't have the data. We have no idea. We don't know what the long-term impact of this virus could be on people. We don't know, once they recover, what does that actually mean? I saw somebody else saying the other day, we didn't know about the impact Zika had on fetuses until 9 months after the epidemic, when babies started being born without brains.
Oh, gosh, really? Is that a thing?
Oh yeah, that's a thing.
Oh,
yeah.
Gosh.
That's why, when the Zika outbreak was happening, people were like, if you're of childbearing age, don't go to Africa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But we didn't know about that impact at the time of the epidemic. We didn't know about it until the baby started being born. So it's really, and I'm not saying that COVID will cause an issue with fetuses. Let's just get that out the way. But it's about, it's going to take a while for all of the impacts of these things to show up and for us to know what they look like. So it's tricky.
Yeah, it really is.
And nobody knows.
I've got a few more Facebook comments to bring into this conversation.
Love it.
Rebecca says that 95% of her 2020 bookings have moved to 2021, which, mine are slowly rolling. I can tell you that my, obviously April, but May, June is all wrapped up, and I feel July and August is just kind of going to go soon. So, that's all slowly happening. But Jude has a question. Hey guys, I have a marriage coming up on May 31, which is a full package wedding. Now, clearly only 5 people, unless things change May 11. So we don't know what we don't know. She was thinking of offering a $100 discount to this couple, as there's no second meeting in person or rehearsal now. All connections over the phone or email. I wrote a full personal script, but I feel they're not getting full ceremony value. Thoughts? Sarah, thoughts?
My thought is no, unless they ask for it. If they ask for it, then I would potentially offer a $100 discount. But she said that all of her contact is over the phone and by email. She's probably going to spend a lot more time on the phone and email than she would if she was having a rehearsal and a second meeting. So, or she might spend the hours that she would spend on a rehearsal and a second meeting on the phone or writing emails. So if you look at the time that you're providing, it's probably going to be pretty similar. I am always loath to offer any kind of discount because, I feel quite often that people who get a discount value you less. We've talked about this on the podcast before. And while I get what she's saying, to me, that's a no. If they asked for it, though, I would give it to them, which probably sounds a bit backwards, but that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily offer it, and I couldn't imagine many people asking for it. But I would consider ways that I can increase value.
Mm-hmm.
I know for my couples, sorry, not necessarily for my couples because I've got none, but with the discount package that I've offered during the coronavirus time, let me tell you exactly what I've written because I thought it was kind of cute, but also it was kind of like non-committal. So with my discount package, and you know what, if you guys want to, you can look at my packages. It's my website /information, and so it's called the discount, and it's $990. It's one awesome marriage ceremony with me and all my evenings, legals, etc. And I've just got a note saying, whilst the minimum 2 guests and COVID-19 restrictions apply, there's a free ceremony film and a free handful of photos shot by me, who is not really a professional photographer. But hey, these are weird times, and I have a nice camera, and I'm legally allowed to be at your wedding. So that's what I'm kind of. It's not like it's not so much like a feature or product offering. I'm just trying to extend the value because I can take an okay photo. I'm not a wedding photographer. Don't hire me as your wedding photographer. Please never do that. But if I'm the only one there and everyone else has got an iPhone, I'll take a few photos at the end of the ceremony. Like when I say a few, I'm talking like 3 minutes, just like click, click. And I'll send them to you. So you got something that's more than an iPhone photo. And that's just an extension of value.
Another thing you could do, Jude, if you don't already, is offer to order and pay for their BDM certificate for them.
Yeah, there's that. Yeah.
You know, that's a $50 or 45, whatever it is, dollar value. So that's something else that you could throw in to give them additional value. Rather than giving them money back.
Yeah, because that's always the thing you want to do when you're talking about discounting. I would always encourage you to not discount, but to increase value.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Anything else on that Facebook feed? I love this.
There's a couple here.
Can't believe people are actually listening live. That's so cool and weird.
Yeah, it's kind of cute, hey? Okay, so I'm just desperately trying to read this, and I'm realizing I'm live, and I feel awkward trying to read things. Alison asked, am I using the drone? You know what? I haven't flown it the whole COVID situation, but you're allowed to because, you know, the drone doesn't touch other people and it doesn't catch a virus. If I had a ceremony, I probably would do something with the drone because I'm there and it's cool. Alison's also offering free live streaming. So yeah, if anyone wants some info on live streaming and how to do it, I might try and put something up on the Celebrant Institute.
Oh yeah, good one. Good one.
Because there's levels of live stream, so I've got thoughts on that. I try to do a high quality thing because I'm a nerd, but my high quality end of live streaming, probably the complete outlay would be, I'm gonna say $2,500 or so, which is high end, but that's it's a really good video, really good live stream, good audio, good video, that kind of thing, good tripod. You could if you've got an iPhone and you wanted to go for iPhone audio, which I hate, but anyway, you could just do that and it's free with a tripod. So
yeah, that's it. And right now, when people don't have lots of extra money, that's the way to do it. If you want to increase your value of what you're giving them without spending too much money and so forth. It's just something to make life a bit better for them.
Caitlin says that she's been streaming into a private Facebook group, which is a really good idea. I've been encouraging couples to either create a Facebook group, or you can even stream into a Facebook event. So the couple can create a Facebook event and invite you to be like, I think, an admin or whatever it is of that. And you can then from your Facebook, you can stream into that event. So yeah, that's kind of cool.
Cool. All these things, technology, so fancy. We're bloody lucky that we're having this right now.
Yeah,
and not like 20 years ago.
There's a lot to be said for the time and the place that this whole pandemic is happening. And, you know, as much as you and I have both given everyone permission to just sit on your ass and do nothing and just experience the weirdness that is the world, it's also like, it is a good chance to get involved in product changes and website changes. You know, I've been updating website stuff, and I've been looking at price theory. I'm going to put a post on the Celebrant Institute website soon about some price theory stuff I think Celebrants could apply. I've been reworking my workflows. I've completely redone my Dubsado workflows. It's really sexy. I'm very, very sexy. Like if you thought hot people were sexy, you've seen nothing.
Oh dear, you are a nerd, aren't you?
I am a bit of a nerd.
It's okay. I'm a nerd too.
Hey, I thought it would be a fun
together.
thing to round out the podcast with.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the post I did on the website today about the Celebrant
Survey? I loved it. Yes. Yeah. Let's talk about that. So interesting.
Yeah. So if you, it's a free article on the Celebrant Institute website. So if you want to jump on there, even if you're not a member, then hey, become a member. But you can also just jump on and have a look. So I was, I'm flicking through my Dropbox folders, trying to find files I can put in better folder categories, and just try and I don't know what everyone else's Dropbox is like, but mine is just a mess. I've just dumped 1,000 files in there, so I'm trying to clean it up and make it work better. And I found this old 2009 survey from celebrante.com.au, I think, is a Celebrant directory website. It's been around for 1 million years, and they surveyed 1,400 celebrants, and they found all this data across 1,400 celebrants. And I just thought it was a really beautiful little time capsule from the year that I became a celebrant.
Totally. It's very cool. There's some cool stuff in there about how much people were charging 11 years ago, how many people had celebrancy as their main source of income, how many ceremonies they performed a year, whether or not they had a contract. Interesting there. Stuff about actually how businesses were set up, and whether they belong to celebrant associations, skills they wanted to improve on, what kind of advertising avenues they were using, what kind of printed materials they had, a whole lot of personalized stationery. 42% had personalized ceremony stationery, presentation folders and so forth, which I think is hilarious. And only 50% had a website for their celebrant business.
Websites were a big deal back then. Like if you had a website, you were ahead of the curve.
You certainly were. You really were. But a lot of the people who had a website had no idea whether it was helping them get business or not, which I suspect is the same today. I suspect still a lot of people don't track where their business comes from. But it is pretty interesting. And just a quick glance at the figures, it actually looks pretty similar to today, to be honest.
Are you doing that many ashes scattering ceremonies or new home or office ceremonies? Have you ever done a new home or office ceremony?
I have not, no. Which,
boat launch?
It's obviously devastating. Also, no.
No.
I've also never done a house blessing. When I did my celebrant training, the half a day was about like other ceremonies, like namings and pet funerals and house blessings. And I was telling my family about house blessings, and my sister went, "But you don't believe in that."
But you don't believe in that.
And because it was about sage and like getting the spirits out and blah blah blah. She said, "You can't offer that if you don't believe in it, and if you do believe in it, you and I have to have a separate conversation." Yeah, it's not something that I've done. I suppose the big thing for me that is different is the types of online advertising forums. Like I'm looking at the list there, and a lot of those I can see don't exist anymore. Celebrantsonline.com.au, wedding.com.au, needacelebrant.com.au. Lots of people were advertising then still in the yellow pages. Like 331 out of the 700 who were doing some advertising. So that was pretty interesting. And actually found it to be 28% of those found it to be great value, which is fascinating. So that's pretty interesting. it is cool to have these little time capsules to see, you know, what's happening where in the world and in the olden days.
The olden days, all 11 years ago.
Oh, I love it. The olden days. Yep. Do you have any thoughts on the survey?
Oh, you know, I've always found the greater celebrant industry beautiful and weird. And I'm sure that if you did the survey today, you probably get a few numbers that are not dissimilar. Obviously, a few of the websites have changed, and you know, like you said, there's places like the Academy of Celebrancy that don't exist anymore. And but even like particularly the stationery, like what printed materials do you use? I always get people asking me like, where do you get your brochures? And I'm like, I don't have a brochure. I don't have a business card. No one wants my business card. And look, I know that there's still a thing for some people, but I find that I carry business cards until the point that I realize no one wants one. Then when I don't carry them, someone's like, have you got a business card? And I just try to tell everyone, no, I don't have a business card now. I'm online, just search for Josh Withers. And if my name isn't that memorable, then we weren't meant to be. I don't know. It's too much work.
More people, my business cards now are mainly for funeral families. That's who wants my business card more than.
And that's fair because you have a short lifespan, sorry the pun, to with them. Like you have a short amount of time with them. And
I'm not going to tell them to go search for me on Instagram.
No. So that's valid. Like it's because also you're kind of, are you assigned to them? I haven't done many. I've done 2 funerals. So like, are you?
Sometimes the funeral.
To people?
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes the funeral director says to the family, "This is who I think would suit you best."
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you need a place where you can just kind of give them your details. And, you know, if it was younger people, then maybe you can send them a text. But I feel like there's a generational thing here where you still need a business card, not for weddings though.
Definitely. I think that might be everything.
I think that might be everything for a day. Is
there anybody left on Facebook who has anything else to say there?
There was at one point there was like 30 people watching.
That's so cool.
Right now. I know.
I love it.
Who thought that people liked us?
Who thought that people would watch it live? Like, who's got time for that? I guess people have all the time now. Maybe that's what it's about.
Yeah, no, Alison was just giving me some updates that she's doing live streaming on iPhone 11 and Zoom. And also on the business cards that she's had lots of photographers ask for a card and vendor networking. And look, I get that. I have had the photographers ask for a card. I've also had them never bloody follow up. So
correct. Yes.
I feel it's a thing that people just say.
Yeah.
So
quite possibly. Definitely.
That's Josh's take on the world.
It's fair.
But
it's a good take.
We're just chopping down trees to obey social norms.
This is fair. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Withers, as always.
Thank you, Ms. Ed. It's a pleasure to join you on the podcast. Thank you for everyone for joining us on Facebook Live. And also thank you for listening to the podcast. I'm going to do something we don't do often, which is just ask people to, in whatever podcasting app you're listening to us on, if you can just rate and review. I get this bloody email every week from the podcast charts. And like, we're always hovering around like position 64 and 67. It's like, you're up 2 places, you're down 3 places. And, and so if it wasn't for that, I probably wouldn't count. I probably should just unsubscribe from the email, but your ratings and reviews, they help other people find us. They help people know why they should listen. Like, what is the Celebrant Talk show? So jump in the reviews. And if you can leave something that would be a note to someone else to let them know why or how they should listen and what they would get out of it, that would be lovely, and we'll be forever grateful. So thank you for doing that. The Celebrant.fm website is also not the Celebrant, it's just Celebrant.fm is the website where you can listen to other episodes. And if you're not a member of the Celebrant Institute, then jump onto Celebrant.institute and check out the website there, check out the blog, subscribe and become a member. And thank you for listening. Hope you have a good day.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Facebook Live stopped. Recording stopped. Cool. And that's that. And recording there stopped.